Dive is ready for some submarine action in this month's Patreon pick, Sub Hunt for your Intellivision. And look, explosions! Awesome! Let's go ahead and take Sub Hunt. Let's pop it in my Intellivision and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Sub Hunt was published by Mattel and was released in 1982. It was programmed by Tom Lowry, who also programmed the Activision game Worm Whopper for the Intellivision, which I reviewed in episode 460. The manual opens with the following: to Sub Squadron, enemy convoys approaching. All have destroyer escorts. Station subs at sea. Stalk your targets. Fire torpedoes. Evade surface gunnery and depth charges. Sink all ships. Good hunting. Sub Hunt is a submarine action and strategy game for one player only. The game has 5 difficulty levels selected by the first 5 buttons on the overlay. The stars represent the difficulty, so the 3 button, which has 1 star, is the easiest game, and the 5 button, which has 5 stars, is the hardest game. The overlay is very helpful with this game. The majority of it is used for the battle map area, but the bottom row is used for the main map, where you start your game. You begin the game with 4 subs on the map. Your main goal is to destroy 6 enemy convoys that will approach one at a time. Each convoy contains 2 battleships and 4 troop ships. All the ships can attack you, but the battleships are more aggressive and harder to take down. Each convoy is trying to get to the enemy staging harbor at the top of the screen. Unseen but already waiting in the harbor are 3 enemy battleships. If enough enemy ships reach the harbor to make a convoy consisting of 3 enemy battleships and 3 troop ships, they will leave the harbor heading to your home base on the right of the map. If that convoy reaches your home base, your game will end in defeat. Your game also ends in defeat if you lose all of your subs. On the main screen, use the Sub Select button to highlight a sub to control using the disc. When you select a new sub, any sub you were controlling will continue to move in the direction it was heading. If you press the Stop 1 button, the sub you are controlling will stop moving. If you press the Stop All button, all the subs will stop moving. Enemy convoys will appear on the left of the screen. When one of your subs touches them, you will engage them and go to the battle map. On the battle map, you will start with your engines off, your sonar on, and surfaced on the right of the screen. You will see the enemy convoy somewhere on the left, consisting of 6 dots, with the leftmost and rightmost dots representing the 2 battleships. The first 5 buttons control your speed. If you are far enough away from the enemy convoy at any time, you will blink fast and can press return to return to the main map. You can use the dive and surface buttons to raise and lower your depth. Pressing dive once will put you submerged, but you can still use your periscope to fire. Any lower and you can't fire torpedoes. It is harder for the enemy to find you when you're submerged. It's also harder for them to find you if you turn your sonar off, but you won't see them on the battle map either. On the top of your screen is a periscope showing the direction you are heading. Under that is your depth meter, your rudder meter, which by the way you cannot turn when you're completely stopped, and your speed. You can also go in reverse by pressing the lower side buttons. All the way to the right is your torpedo indicator. If both torpedoes are red, you must wait for one of them to reload before you can fire again. You fire with the upper side buttons, but you cannot hit a ship if it's too far away. All the way to your right is a count of how many enemy ships you have sunk. If you reach 36, you win the game. You can also win the game if the final enemy convoy reaches the staging harbor, but they don't have enough ships to form an invasion force. But you still need to have at least 1 sub remaining when this happens in order to win the game. Graphically speaking, the game looks pretty basic. However, I do like that sometimes when submerged, you can actually see the depth charges the enemy is dropping. Even though you could tell the 2 enemy ships apart if you get close enough to see their side view, I do wish it was easier to tell them apart from a distance. Maybe if they had a different color. Sound and music wise, you have a nice ping sound and some decent sound effects, but if you win the game, you do get to hear an excellent rendition of Ride of the Valkyries. Brian Danielson would be proud. Family friendly wise, the game would most likely get an E for everyone rating it for release today, although this is not necessarily a kid's game. At the time I researched on eBay, including shipping, complete copies were going for $5 to $11, new copies were selling for $11 to $19, and one new Sears version sold for $28. So what did I think of Sub Hunt? I like sub games, and this game is right up my alley, but this is a game that really requires reading the manual, using the overlay, and some time to learn how to play it. I was able to beat the game on the easiest 2 levels simply by going after the enemy ships, but to beat it on the 3rd difficulty setting, I had to follow the manual recommendations of submerging to periscope depth and not using my sonar as I approached, which really added some nice tension trying to find the enemy in my periscope. I also had to learn to dive to the bottom when under heavy attack, turn off my engines, and hope for the enemy to eventually leave me as I heard the depth charges exploding all around. Now, it did take me some time to get used to the game, and I do wish the enemy ships were easier to tell apart, and a damage meter would have been real nice too, but in the end I really enjoyed Sub Hunt. It's not a game for everyone, but this is definitely a title I could play again. So where am I going to rank Sub Hunt? A lot higher than I initially thought. I do like Thunder Castle and Burger Time at 1 and 2 more, but surprisingly I enjoyed this more than Lock and Chase at 3. So out of the 26 games I've now ranked on the Intellivision, Sub Hunt is surfacing at the 3 position. It's not for everyone, but if early submarine simulators appeal to you, you should definitely check out Sub Hunt. But that's only my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me both on the Facebook and the Twitter. Check out some of my many other videos and sign up at patreon.com/NoSwearGamer to support the show and gain access to exclusive perks, just like Intellivisionary Rick, Caleb J, and Michael T did, who all voted for me to review Sub Hunt. Thank you all. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care, especially when approaching battleships.